In interesting times, today's stories. Suicide attack kills at least 13 during Afghan election rally. Indonesia, thousands living in tents after tsunami and quake. Yemeni seeks safety from landmines at IDP camp in Koka. UN chief and Indian Prime Minister inaugurate solar summit in Delhi. Protesters in Boston urge Senator Flake not to vote for Kavanaugh. Plus, the Felix Y. Manila Foundation, Lifestream Blood Bank, and the Huntington Hospital Blood Donor Center sponsor a blood drive in North Hollywood. Hello everyone, I am Sarah Nackman, bringing you stories from around the globe. And this is Eagle News, Washington, D.C. Officials said a suicide attack on a political rally in eastern Afghanistan killed at least 13 people on Tuesday as the country braces for an escalation in violence ahead of this month's parliamentary election. The attack is the first suicide assault since campaigning officially began last Friday for the long-delayed ballot, preparations for which have already been marred by dozens of bloody attacks. Provincial governor spokesman Atullah Kugyani said more than 40 people were wounded, some of them critically, when the militant blew himself up among the supporters of candidate Abdul Nasir Muhammad in Nangarhar province. Kugyani confirmed Muhammad survived the attack, but he did not say if the candidate had been hurt. Provincial Health Director Najibullah Kamawal put the death toll slightly higher at 14. Numerous ambulances were seen delivering bodies and wounded people to a hospital in the provincial capital of Jalalabad. Saeed Humayun, who had brought his injured cousin to the medical facility, said scores of people had been inside a hall listening to campaign speeches when the bomber struck. The force of the blast caused the ceiling to collapse on top of the gathering. Siraj-ul-Rahman, whose leg was hurt in the blast, said Muhammad had begun addressing his supporters when he heard a big bang from the middle of the room. No group immediately claimed the attack, but the Islamic State group has taken responsibility for most of the suicide bombings in recent months. Thousands of residents in the Indonesian city of Palu in central Sulawesi are living in tents at evacuation center, which lack basic supplies and power. Indonesia said Tuesday more than 1,200 people are now known to have died in the quake tsunami that smashed into Sulawesi as police pledged to clamp down on looting by survivors, taking advantage of the chaos. There were reports of officers firing warning shots and tear gas to ward off people, ransacking shops in Palu, a coastal city ravaged by a 7.5 magnitude quake and the tsunami it spawned. The United Nations says almost 200,000 people are in need of urgent help, among them tens of thousands of children. Survivors are battling thirst and hunger, with food and clean water in short supply, and local hospitals are overwhelmed by the number of injured.
Terutama anak-anak itu makanannya, kemudian pampers-pampersnya, pakaiannya, itu yang penting untuk anak-anak kecil. Jadi untuk orang-orang tua seperti ibu saya sana juga, ada beberapa orang tua itu sangat membutuhkan makanan khusus. Tapi ternyata sampai sekarang belum ada juga pemerintah perhatikan.
Police said Tuesday that they had previously tolerated desperate survivors taking food and water from closed shops, but had now arrested dozens of people for stealing computers and cash. Despite officials' assurance, desperation was evident on the streets of Palu, where survivors clambered through wreckage hunting of anything salvageable. Others crowded around daisy-chained power strips at the few buildings that still have electricity, or queued for water, cash, or petrol being brought in via armed police convoy. 48-year-old Burhanuddin Aid Masi said the government, the president, may have to come to check on them, but what the people really need is food and water. Queues to get a few liters of petrol lasted more than 24 hours in some places. Sanitation is also a growing problem. Armawati Yarmin said people everywhere want to go to the toilet, but there's no toilet, so they do it along the road at night. Rescue efforts have been hampered by a lack of heavy machinery, severed transport links, the scale of the damage, and the Indonesian government's initial reluctance to accept foreign help. Along the road to Donggala, a large town close to the epicenter of the quake, there were more scenes of destruction. The town itself appeared relatively unscathed, but in the worst affected areas, it was difficult to find a single vertical surface. According to the government, the official death toll from the tragedy in central Sulawesi stood at 1,234. The Indonesian military is leading the rescue effort, but following a reluctant acceptance of help by President Joko Widodo, international NGOs also have teams on the ground in Palu. Among the dead are dozens of students whose lifeless bodies were pulled from their landslide-swamped church in Sulawesi. Displaced Yemenis take shelter at Al-Wara camp in the Koka district, as millions are caught up in a dragging war in which Houthi rebels have been fighting for more than 3 years against the Yemeni government, which is backed by a Saudi-led military coalition. While the Saudi-led coalition has come under fire for air raids that have killed civilians, including children, in rebel-held areas, the Houthis have been accused of widespread and indiscriminate use of landmines. Millions have been caught up in a dragging war in which Houthi rebels have been fighting for more than 3 years against the Yemeni government, which is backed by a Saudi-led military coalition. Rights groups say both sides have committed potential war crimes in the conflict, which has killed an estimated 10,000 people, mostly civilians. Yemen is a signatory to the International Mine Ban Treaty, which came into force in 1999 and aims to eliminate landmines and clean up vast tracts of polluted land. And indiscriminate use of landmines is deemed a war crime by international bodies.
يعني بدي بهايكو في الخوها السواق كهب اللقم جبنا بردنا في البيت حقنا هو قدون بردنا في البيت حقنا زقطحنا من البيت
مدنيين مواطنين لو قالوا خل حتى الحوادث قالوا لا خرجوا من بيوتكم يلا خرجوا ولا قاموا لنا البيوت قاموا هذول خرجوا احنا ضل معانا شيء حتى لا مع ثيابنا هذه اللي علينا.
While the Houthi rebels have made no media comments about landmines, in a letter to Human Rights Watch in 2017, the rebel-controlled foreign ministry in Sana'a denied using landmines or having stockpiles, adding they were vigilant in abiding by commitments under the treaty. The Human Rights Watch said in June that landmines in Yemen were hindering aid access and entrapping people. The HRW said Houthi forces have repeatedly laid anti-personnel, anti-vehicle, and improvised mines as they withdrew from areas in Aden, Taiz, Marib, and more recently along Yemen's western coast. It warned landmines will pose a threat to civilians long after the conflict ends. In July, the Washington Institute said that while landmines have plagued Yemen for decades amid different conflicts, the Houthis are using them today at an astonishingly high rate. While the exact numbers are notoriously difficult to verify, the institute said one Yemeni demining official claims the Houthis have laid 500,000 mines since 2015, while demining teams have reportedly removed 300,000 landmines. The non-governmental Landmine and Cluster Munition Monitor recorded more than 2,100 casualties in Yemen from landmines in 2016. Up next, UN Chief and Indian Prime Minister inaugurate Solar Summit in Delhi. Protesters in Boston urge Senator Flake not to vote for Kavanaugh. Eagle News, Washington, D.C. will return in a moment.
Pasok sa top 30 semi-finalist ang dalawang entry ng Pinas FM DJ at Letters and Music host na si Aiki. At kailangan niya ang ating suporta. Iboto ang dalawa niyang entry para makapasok sa top 10 ng PhilPop 2018. Ang Oka, interpreted by Tyro Alfaro and Aiki himself. To vote, just text VOTE space NK22 and send it to 8933. At ang Promissory Note, interpreted by Yumi Laksamana. To vote, just text VOTE space NK25 and send it to 8933. Voting is until October 12, 2018 at 11:59 p.m. only. Vote now at ating iparamdam ang hashtag Pinoy Music Power.
Agila Balita, Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 12 ng tanghali hanggang alauna ng hapon.
Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News, Washington, D.C. UN Chief Antonio Guterres and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurate the first assembly of the International Solar Alliance on the second day of Guterres' visit in India.
I welcome this very important initiative spearheaded by India and France. The International Solar Alliance represents exactly what needs to be done and represents the future. We know what we need to do, and by and large, we have the tools to do it. What we still lack, fortunately not here in this room, what we still lack is the political commitment to make the transformative decisions that will lead us onto a safer path.
Protesters gather at Boston City Hall Plaza, where Senator Jeff Flake is visiting, to urge him not to vote for Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation. U.S. President Donald Trump hit back Sunday at suggestions his administration is trying to micromanage the FBI investigation of controversial Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, accusing opposition Democrats of being interested only in obstruction. Trump on Friday had ordered the new FBI investigation into sexual assault allegations against Kavanaugh, as the Senate delayed a final vote on his confirmation as the key ninth member of the Supreme Court. The delay followed a dramatic televised Senate Judiciary Committee hearing at which University professor Christine Blasey Ford accused the judge of pinning her down and assaulting her in the 1980s. Kavanaugh vigorously denied the allegations. The president tweeted, "Wow, just starting to hear the Democrats, who are only thinking obstruct and delay, are starting to put out the word that the time and scope of FBI looking into Judge Kavanaugh and witnesses is not enough. Hello, for them, it will never be enough. Both the New York Times and NBC News have cited multiple sources as saying the White House was limiting the witnesses the FBI could question during a one-week background check. Trump insisted on Twitter that the FBI had free rein to pursue the matter as it saw fit. The president tweeted late Sunday, "I want them to interview whoever they deem appropriate at their discretion." But Democratic members of the Senate Judiciary Committee appear unconvinced. Senator Dianne Feinstein, the committee's ranking Democrat, tweeted on Sunday, "The White House and the FBI should release details on the scope of the Kavanaugh background investigation and keep Congress informed of any changes." She wrote, "This needs to be a real investigation and we must get all the facts." The Felix Y. Manalo Foundation, the Livestream Blood Bank, and the Huntington Hospital Blood Donor Center sponsor a blood drive in North Hollywood. That's next. Eagle News, Washington, D.C. will return shortly.
Hi guys, I'm Ariel.
And I'm Kenneth. And we're your new hosts for The Break Room.
So please watch us every Monday at 7:30 to 8 in the evening. We are one with 25.
Ano ang kahulugan ng tagumpay para kay Miss Marisa Sanchez?
Sa akin, tagumpay ka pagka 3 beses sa isang araw kumakain ka. Yung iba kasi nagugutom, walang makain. Tagumpay sa akin pagka nasa loob ka ng bahay habang may calamity at walang may sakit kahit isa sa pamilya mo.
Tama.
Sa akin yan ang tagumpay. Ako po si Marisa Sanchez. Panoorin niyo po ako ngayong Sabado dito po sa RYTS, dito po sa Net 25.
Agila Balita, Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 12 ng tanghali hanggang 1:00 ng hapon.
Join the EBC Family Fun Run, November 4, 2018, at the Ciudad de Victoria Complex, Bulacan. Choose from race categories: 1.062 kilometer, 2.5 kilometers, 5 kilometers, and 9.55 kilometers. Registration is ongoing. For more details, log on to www.eaglenews.ph/EBC Fun Run or call 784-7450, local 1162. You may also visit www.facebook.com/EBC Fun Run. EBC Family Fun Run!
This is Eagle News, Washington, D.C. I am Sarah Nachman. What does it take for one to donate blood, and how much courage does one need to do so? Our Eagle News correspondents David Cusio and Sarah Cusio will find out as they speak to donors and organizers of a blood drive in North Hollywood, sponsored by the Felix Y. Manalo Foundation, the Livestream Blood Bank, and the Huntington Hospital Blood Donor Center. Take a look.
Giving blood can help save lives. But with needles that look this big, donors must be brave. So how does a person find the courage to give blood? Well, we're about to find out. Wait, not me. I'm too young to give blood. The Iglesia Twisto with the Felix Y. Manalo Foundation have partnered with Livestream and the Huntington Hospital Blood Donor Center to sponsor a blood donation drive in North Hollywood, California. Members of the Church of Christ, along with community residents, work together to raise awareness about the need for blood. How will the donated blood be used?
Well, that's a great question, David. The blood will be used for many patients within the Southern California area. It goes to people who are in car accidents, who are having surgery, or being treated for cancer. People give blood because that's the only source of blood for individuals in need. They do it out of the goodness of their heart, to go ahead and give back to the community, and to save lives.
Why do people give blood?
People give blood because they want to help, because they know that that's the only way they can save someone's life that needs blood is by donating their own blood. We can't buy blood, we can't turn on a faucet and fill up bags with blood. It takes people helping people. Donating blood is very easy and it's very rewarding. It doesn't take very long to do. You get to find out some things about your health that perhaps you didn't already know. And you also get to find out your blood type. But most importantly, you get to save lives.
A city official representative from District 6 of Los Angeles arrived to award the Iglesia Ni Cristo and the FYM Foundation with a certificate of recognition for their outstanding work in this community outreach. Why did the Church of Christ decide to hold a blood donation drive?
We want to be able to fulfill the commandments of God that says that we should shine as lights of this world. So we help our fellow man by donating things such as blood. That's something that they might need, especially if they're sick, so that someday we would be able to invite them to the Church of Christ and to listen to the words of our Almighty God.
A big lunch, lots of refreshments, a photo booth, and a children's arts and craft center were enjoyed by all the attendees with their families. Is this your first time giving blood?
Yes, it is.
No, this is not my first time giving blood.
Yes, it is.
Does the needles scare you?
Yes, it did.
Then how are you still able to donate?
I closed my eyes. I prayed.
No, needles never really scared me, and my parents have taught me to be brave.
Just give it a try. Giving blood is you're saving lives and you're giving life. Just look at the good side because you're helping a lot of people that are sick.
A message I would give to somebody that isn't sure to give blood is that you're kind of being a hero because you're giving your blood, and blood is life, to another person, so they have a chance to like survive something, because you'll never know what the people who are going through that are getting this blood.
For me, it's a way to show that I can give back to the people. It's another way to do good.
I think you just have to remember that this could possibly save someone's life, and it's always going to be worth it in the end.
I know there's people out there who are scared of needles and stuff like that, like my dad. Last year he did donate despite being afraid of blood. So I think it's more about knowing that not only is this for the church and like the FYM Foundation, but it's also helping out people around the world, or like people who need blood.
Just take a deep breath, and it just happens really fast. It's scary before it happens, but when it actually happens, you get it done with really fast. It's pretty much the health benefits, and most especially to help other people who might need your blood to save lives.
We wondered what makes a person brave enough to give blood. After speaking with donors, this is what we discovered. Courage starts with caring. Reporting from North Hollywood, California for Eagle News, I'm David.
And I am Sarah.
And we are 1 with 25.
Thank you, David and Sarah. That is today's Eagle News, Washington, D.C. Join us tomorrow for stories that matter to you. Visit our website at eaglenews.ph and eaglenewslive.com. Like us on Facebook and also follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/EagleNewsPH. Thank you for watching. I am Sarah Nachman, and I am 1 with 25.